In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, back with you, Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk, 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here, Tom at guntalk.com. Don't forget, we're still giving away stuff. We always have, we try to always have a giveaway going at any given time. And we're just a few days away from giving away this great package from Brownells. It's an AR-15 upper completion kit. You can see all the details on our website. Just go to guntalk.com/win. That's / obviously. guntalk.com/WIN and enter for a chance to win this cool deal. So that's going to be going to somebody, well, at least the contest ends in just a few days, November 1, as a matter of fact. So, by the way, the fun part is I get emails pretty much every week now, because we're giving away stuff every week. Somebody says, hey, I got one like 2 days ago. A guy says, I just got a cool set of screwdrivers for a Glock. I don't own a Glock. I said, man, that is going to be the most expensive set of screwdrivers you have ever seen. I mean, if you got screwdrivers for a Glock, what's a fella to do? You're going to get the Glock, aren't you? One of the things in the news that we haven't talked about enough, I don't think, and now there's a call to action. There's a reason for you to be involved in it right now, and I want you to listen up because we need your help. To talk about that, we're going to bring in Dave Matheny. He's the owner of the Silencer Shop. Hey, Dave, welcome to Gun Talk.
Hey, how are you doing?
I am good. First of all, tell me what the Silencer Shop is. What do you guys do, and where are you located? Tell me about it.
We're in Austin, Texas. Really, all we focus on is selling silencers for firearms. That's our primary business. That's about it.
Well, I mean, and you have to, I have seen an incredible growth in interest in silencers / suppressors over, I would say 5 years, but probably it's been about 10 years building up. What have you seen?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. We're to a point where, this is a huge growth industry. On the flip side, it's actually still pretty small. You talk to your typical gun owner, and a lot of guys don't even know the silencers are legal still. So it's a huge growth industry, and we're seeing giant explosion in growth.
And there are some obstacles in our way. And just so that everybody gets it, let me say it very, very clearly. It is absolutely legal for you to own a silencer. In most states, it's not a problem. It's legal under the federal laws, but we have seen some roadblocks put in our way, Dave, in the form of slowing down the processing of the paperwork that goes into the feds. Don't know if that is a purposeful slowing down or if they're just absolutely swamped with all the stuff coming in, but it used to be that you could get your paperwork done in 3 months, and then it was 6 months, and now I'm hearing 9 months to 12 months to get your paperwork done. What are you seeing?
Yeah, we're currently seeing 7 to 8 months, but the times are definitely on the rise. 6 months ago we were seeing 6 months. 6 months before that we were seeing 5 months.
Right.
So you've got you've got an organization of the government that's probably receiving more voluntary funding than any other organization, and they're not increasing their resources at all. So yeah, it's kind of a frustrating situation.
And now we have this new thing thrown out there. We have the ATF with a proposed change in the rules, and it's a little bit involved, but would you like to explain what the deal is with trust and LLCs and how you can register your silencer through a trust and what the benefit has been for an awful lot of us?
A trust or an LLC, for that matter, are a great way to go when you're registering a silencer because of the restrictions you have when you register as an individual. If you register as an individual, then for families, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because you think of a case where you put a suppressor on a home defense gun, your wife uses it when you're not home. If you register as an individual, that is completely illegal. Whereas if you register using a trust, she has the same access to use that as you do. It's great for families. And what a lot of people are doing is they're registering using trusts to kind of get that benefit, going hunting with your son. There are so many cases where you don't want to be the only person that can have access to it. And that's where trusts and corporations both come in.
And the other real benefit to that is that if you register your gun or silencer or could be a machine gun or your NFA firearm or item, you're required to get the okay. You have to get a sign-off from the chief law enforcement officer of your area, generally the sheriff. And there are a lot, not just a few, but there are a lot of sheriffs who simply say, as a policy, I refuse to do that. And if he or she says, we're not doing that, you're just out of luck. You can't get it, can you?
That's right. And, that sheriff's sign-off, in the 1960s, I can kind of see where that may have made sense. But in 2013, to think that that's an effective background check is really kind of dumb. So, yeah, you're right. It really is it's an overhead thing for sheriffs, and a lot of them won't sign.
And so that means you can't. Now, and the flip side of that is if you do your registration through a trust or an LLC under current law, you do not have to get the sign-off of the CLEO, the Chief Law Enforcement Officer. And that's been one of the real attractions. It's why so many of us have gone that route. So what's happened? What is the ATF proposing now?
Well, the rule that they're proposing now is that every single person of either a trust or a corporation, if they go to register a silencer in the name of that entity, every single person associated with it would have to get a sheriff sign off. So let's say you've got you and your brother who happens to live in California, and your other brother who's maybe stationed in Afghanistan. Every single one of you would have to get a sign off from a sheriff every single time you register, and it has to be in your current jurisdiction. It really is. It's a huge burden, is what it is, and all they're trying to do is make it hard to get them.
Well, they're trying to shut it down. What they're looking at is saying, well, gee, we have an awful lot of people getting silencers now. We don't like that because we're the Obama administration. We would prefer you didn't have a gun in the first place, but we certainly don't want you to have one of those silencers because we've seen the movies, and we know what those are used for. Idiots.
Yeah, right, right.
So, but there is a comment period, right? The ATF, where they're taking comments on this, and that's kind of our call to action to people.
Yes, that's right. So from now through the beginning of December, the first week of December, you can put in comments to the ATF, and we're trying to get as many people to comment on this as possible because this is not a done deal. This changes, but if we don't get enough comments in, it will happen. So, yeah, please, if people would go out and get those comments in, we'd really appreciate that.
Okay, and you've got some information about that on your website, silencershop.com. It's got the information on where to send it and kind of some suggestions on what to put in your comments and kind of how you can personalize it with your experience, right?
That's exactly right, yes.
What we need is to hit them with hundreds of thousands of comments and have them fall about 99% against this change in the regs. At the same time, let me ask you this. Would it not be a good idea, I've not heard anybody talking about this, I'm just asking, would it not be a good idea at the same time to contact your Congress people and say, look, this is a proposal that I am against, and this is why. It has absolutely nothing to do with crime control. It's still regulated by the ATF. It's just a way for this administration to cut down on this. Well, I would think it'd be a good idea to contact our Congress folks to let them know what's going on. I guarantee a lot of them don't even know about this.
Oh, yeah. And like I said before, this, in the grand scheme of things, is a pretty small market. And the reason they're able to pull these changes off now is because it's so small. Give it 5 years of the growth we're having, and more people would understand silencers, and there's no way they could pull this off. But now they're kind of able to cut it off in its infancy if that's what they're trying to do.
Sure. Makes sense. All right. Well, look, I appreciate the information and the explanation. And for more information, they can go to your website, silencershop.com. It's real simple, silencershop.com. And you also have information there on how to buy a silencer, what's involved, what the laws are, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, yes.
All right. Dave, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Seriously.
You bet. All right. All right, we'll be back in just a second. We talk about this. We can talk about your guns, well, optics. What are you interested in? What are you curious about? Do you have a gun that you bought that you really like? Those are the ones I really like to hear about. Like, get your personal range report. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN, or you can send me an email. I'll read it during the break, tom@guntalk.com.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Crossbreed Holsters is broadening our product selection to serve more of your concealed carry needs. With products handmade in the USA, like the bedside backup, gun belts, and of course our world-famous Super Tuck and Mini Tuck holsters, we understand what works, and we take pride in providing you with a quality product. At Crossbreed Holsters, we live and breathe concealed carry. We make and sell products that we believe in and products that our customers love. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
The Ruger American Rifle is a 100% American-made firearm that offers outstanding performance at a great price. Available in standard size and compact models, it features power bedding integral bedding blocks, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, a flush-fit 4-round rotary magazine, and a 3-lug bolt with 70-degree throw. Compact models feature a shorter length of pull and a shorter barrel for a reduction in overall length of more than 5 inches. The Ruger American Rifle, another rugged and reliable firearm from Ruger.
The world can be a dangerous place. Gear up with the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Equipping your firearm with laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com and receive a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
Gun Talk would like to say thanks to our longtime loyal listeners who put their trust in us every week and depend on us to answer your questions and keep you informed. Now, Tom Gresham's Gun Talk continues.
All right, back with the 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here. Tom at guntalk.com, of course, obviously. Let's see, go to the phones. Line 3, Bob's with us. That's Bob in Warrenton, Oregon, I believe that is. Hey, Bob. Bob, you there? Guess not. Tell you what, put Bob back on hold. We'll try to find him in just a second. Let's go to line 1. Alan is in Zephyr Cove, Nevada. Hello, Alan. You're on Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. Nice to talk to you, and greetings from the Jewel of the Sierra. My question is related to any organization that you might be aware of that has to do with blind shooters. I'm legally blind, but I still like to shoot. And I'm interested in any contact with any others that might be aware of how to deal with issues of visual impairment.
Well, it's interesting that you would ask this because there have been some stories and some national outrage in that there have been some states where they said it is legal to get your concealed carry permit even though you are legally blind. Let me ask you this, because this is kind of the crux of the whole deal. Legally blind does not necessarily mean that you can't see anything, that all you get is black, does it?
That's correct. I can see, but essentially I don't have any central vision, and the rest of my vision is somewhat distorted, so it's difficult to see with any clarity at all.
Okay.
So I can make things out.
So, but did you used to shoot? I assume you did.
I did, and I used to be fully viable on the vision end, but
right.
Anyway, something that took away the vision.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the answer is I don't know of. I think I know that there are groups that help visually impaired people shoot. I just don't know who they are.
Well, if anybody calls up, I'll continue to listen.
Okay.
And take note. The other question I had to do with using a scope, because I have looked through a telescope before, and for some reason it sharpens a picture of whatever I'm looking at some distance away, like 100 yards away. I can actually see it through a scope.
Huh. Let me ask you this. Have you ever tried a real low-power scope, like a 1-power scope, which is no magnification at all?
No, that wouldn't do me any good at all. I do need magnification.
Okay. Well, I mean that's at least a start. We can go with magnification. Here's what we're going to do. Let me put the word out. I'm going to ask for some help here, okay? And anybody who knows of a group, local in an area that we could build on, or a national group that would help visually impaired people shoot, give me a call. Alan's going to keep listening, and we'll see if we can get some information for you. Alan, listen, I appreciate the call, and you keep listening. We'll see if we can get you some help, okay? Let's see. I'm going to drop down to line 4. John's with us out of Godfrey, Illinois. Hello, John. You're on Gun Talk.
Thank you for taking my call. I've recently seen an ad in the NRA magazine for the double-tap tactical pocket pistol, and I was wondering if you had any comments on that firearm.
I have seen it. I have not shot it. That one had some real problems. The company that was supposed to make it, I don't know if it went out of business or they had a falling out, but then it got pulled, and then it was not on the market for a while, and now it is, I guess, in production. I was going to say back in production, but I'm not sure it ever was before. It is, in essence, it's a Derringer.
Yes.
It's a 2-shot Derringer. If you've listened for any length of time, you know that that's not my favorite self-defense platform.
Right.
I look at that and go, why am I going to limit myself to 2 shots? I don't get that. Do you have any thoughts on Derringers?
Well, I'm not sure what the rules will be for Illinois concealed carry, but I'm just wondering, will we be able to, say, carry 2 firearms concealed once everything gets into motion here in Illinois?
I don't know. We were just talking before the show started. We've got somebody in the studio with us right now from California. He was saying in California, doesn't matter how many handguns you own, you can only list 3 of them on your carry permit, and those are the only ones you can carry. So Illinois may adopt something similar to that, and I don't know. Okay, I was going to go somewhere, and then I thought, wait, don't say that because you don't know for sure. I don't know if there are any states who say you can only carry 1 gun. I see where you're going. You're thinking about this as your backup gun.
Yes.
And okay. That one I could see starts to make some sense. I personally probably would still, when I look at a self-defense situation, it's kind of like the guys at Gunsight and Thunder Ranch tell me, they say, look, the difference between you and me is most people, when they look at it, they think everything's going to go right. And a trained person looks at it and says everything's going to go wrong. And I look at it and say there's no way that I'm going to stop this fight with 2 shots, even when I get to my backup gun. I want as many as I can get. There's a reason when I'm walking around generally, just generally speaking, I have somewhere between 20 and 35 rounds on my person, either in the gun or in a spare magazine.
Okay.
That's just the way I am, okay? Because I think running out of ammo in a gunfight would be an exceedingly bad thing to do.
I agree.
And some permits, a good point. Some permits say you could go for a revolver or a semi, but you can't go both. It's weird. And we don't know what you're going to have in Illinois yet. But anyway, that's kind of my take on it. I mean, and obviously some people love Derringers. I get it. I understand it, that they do. I'm just a more ammo kind of guy, I guess. So if we find out anything more, we'll talk about it on the show. And as Illinois gets further into this, that's definitely going to be a topic for us to talk about, John. So I appreciate that. Let me go down to Brent, line 3. He's in Kansas. Hey, Brent, you're on Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
What I'm interested in is a AR with a 7.62 by 39 upper on it. Do you know anything about that? If they're reliable? I've been on AR15.com, and they've had a lot of mixed results.
Well, that's because the reason that they're having mixed results is that's because there are a lot of different uppers. You can't say, well, gee, does this work? It's like saying, do all AR-15s work? Well, I don't know how many are made, 50, 100 different brands right now. Some do, some don't. And to say, well, does a 7.62 by 39 upper work? I don't know. In fact, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. There's a reason that people make uppers for ARs into 300 Whisper and some of these other AEC Blackouts and these other calibers. Those work very well because they're built largely on the 223 case. Let me ask you a question. Would you consider going up to a 308 instead of that? So you actually have a different rifle, not just trying to put something on your AR platform.
Well, I was looking at ammo cost, and that was the whole reason. I like the AR. I had an AR, that was a 5.56 223 that basically got stolen away from me, and I'm looking to replace that. But because of the cost of ammo, I would really like to go with the 7.62 by 39 round without having to go with an AK or an SKS or something like that.
Okay, tell you what we'll do. We'll put out the call. I guarantee you, there's some folks listening right now that have one of these. Know about this, can say, yeah, it's good, don't do it, doesn't exist, it's a myth, it's a unicorn, or, yeah, Tom, that's the way to go. Help me out here, 866-TALK-GUN, 7.62 by 39. Are they our platform, or an AK platform, or maybe some other kind of platform? What would be your choice? And is that the best way to go for cutting down your shooting costs?
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
866-TALK-GUN will get you in here, Tom Gresham. By the way, don't forget to go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, for a chance to win a cool package from Brownells. You'll see all the details there, but we're going to give that away in about 3-4 days now, end of the month. So guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, and enter for a chance to win something neat. Let's go to line 4. Bob is in Oregon with us. Hello, Bob.
Again, not having any proof of that.
Hey, Bob, you got to turn off the radio, please.
Okay, am I on?
You are on the air.
Okay, thank you. My name's Bob, and my wife and I go shooting 2 to 4 weeks. And I have 3 semi-automatic pistols, and I have 5 magazines per pistol. My question to you is, do I have to wait 24 hours or so, and it takes me a good hour and a half to get ready to go out the next day? Can I just load these magazines and keep them loaded, say, for 2 to 4 weeks without the springs lightening up or causing a problem with the springs?
You can load them up 2 years ahead of time. It won't make any difference.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation. In fact, I was going to say you could load them 20 years from now, and that's what I would be comfortable doing. Some people would disagree with that, but springs essentially don't take a set. Good springs don't take a set. So load them up. I mean, when you get back from the range, load them all up so they're ready to go the next time, whenever that happens to be.
Oh, thank you very much, then.
Absolutely. Good shooting, Bob. I appreciate it. Thank you for that call. Line 1, Matt is with us out of Beaver, Oklahoma. Hey, Matt, what's this about a Savage rifle?
Yes, sir. Was wanting to know about the stock. They're pretty flimsy on the forend, and when I'm shooting, if I torque them one way or the other, they don't shoot in the same point of impact. And I've heard that Boyd's makes a gun stock, and I was wondering if you thought it would be worth it. It's a composite, or not a composite, a laminate stock, and I wondered if that would help considerably on this.
Now, you're talking specifically about the Savage Axis rifle. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of reports. I've not shot one of those, but I've seen a lot of reports on the internet, people saying that the stock that comes on the Axis is a bit flimsy, particularly on the forend, so that you can actually put pressure on it and the forearm actually will contact the barrel. Well, that's exceedingly bad for accuracy, obviously.
Yes.
A laminate stock should be, I've not handled it, but it should be a lot stiffer, and it should, of course, be impervious or pretty much impervious to temperature changes, moisture changes, all that kind of thing. It also is probably going to be a little bit heavier, but that's not necessarily a bad thing on a rifle that you're trying to shoot for accuracy anyway. But I'm afraid I don't have any first-hand experience with the Boyd stock, but I think going to a laminate sounds like a good idea in this case. I think you're going to get a stiffer stock, and in a stock, that's what you're looking for.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. And in Texarkana on 2, Carl has joined us talking about a Smith & Wesson bodyguard. Your wife bought a bodyguard?
Yes, she did. That was her choice. I took her in there to let her see what she wanted, and she bought the bodyguard.
So she likes it?
Well, so far she loves it. Of course, it's got the built-in laser on it, but I'm looking for a weapon of my choice now. I was a police officer for many years, and when I retired out of law enforcement, I guess guns got away from me because some of the names that were the cheapest guns turned out to be the better guns now.
That'll happen. So what are you looking at now?
Well, I'm looking at the Smith & Wesson 40 caliber. I believe it's called the SBVD.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just wondering, if that's a good weapon or if there's one that's better.
Well, it is. The answer to both of those is yes. Yes, it's a good firearm, and yes, there are some that are better. That is a lower priced. It's perfectly fine, but that's kind of the lower priced one. If you can afford to bump it up $100 or so, which I think is about the difference, you can get into the Smith & Wesson M&P series, which is absolutely delightful. I love those. But I would not be in the slightest bothered by going with the gun that you're thinking about, which I think if you trace it back, it's actually kind of an outgrowth of the old Smith & Wesson Sigma, which got, for a weird reason, a terrible reputation, and I just thought it was a great gun. I had a 40 caliber that I loved, liked the feel of it, always shot well for me, had a decent trigger. I never could understand why people didn't like it, but I think maybe back 20, 25 years ago, they didn't like it just because it wasn't a Glock. And they said, anything that's polymer, I'm going to get a Glock. And they kind of just hated the idea that Smith actually brought out a polymer gun in the first place. They thought Smith should be steel. Well, we're well beyond that. The Smith & Wesson M&P is a really good gun. And I'm staying with Smith & Wesson because you asked about that. I'm assuming that's what you want to do.
Well, that's most, the one gun manufacturer I've trusted for many years. I carried Model 19 and the Model 28, and then I also carried the Model 58, which was an automatic, but I had a little trouble with the feeder ramp, but going to a gunsmith, he took care of that for me. And I always had a soft spot for Smith & Wesson.
Well, and that's reason enough. Just go with that and stay with it. If you like the Smith & Wessons, take a look at the M&Ps before you choose. Let me ask you a question. Are you going to carry this, or is this just for going out to the range and shooting?
It'll be a carry weapon.
Then there's one more I need to tell you about. They have a fairly new one that's called the Shield. The Smith & Wesson, it's an M&P Shield. It's a single stack that you can get in 9 or 40 that is a really nice carry gun. Shoots well, has a great trigger. So, if that's what you want to do, you're going to stick with Smith, and it's a carry gun. I would say any of the ones that I talked about, including the one that you're looking at, or the Smith & Wesson Shield, or the M&P line, and there's a lot of different ones there, I think you're good on any of those. You're not going to make a mistake. And, there's nothing in the world wrong with brand loyalties. If a brand has treated you well up to this point, why not? Stay with it, and as they say, keep calm and carry on. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
Since 1997, Access Sights have been helping good guys take care of bad situations. The industry leader in gunfighter sights for pistols, shotguns, and rifles, Access Sights are the upgraded solution to your defensive firearms. Learn more about Access Sights and purchase them at AccessSights.com. You can also order your new gun with Access Sights already installed from companies such as Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Remington, Mossberg, and Marlin. If you need a gun, you need Access Sights.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
Long-range shooting is challenging and fun, but most precision rifle bullets aren't right for hunting. Nosler's AccuBond LR long-range bullets are designed specifically for hunters. They combine the incredible on-game performance AccuBond bullets have delivered around the world with incredible long-range properties. High ballistic coefficients make for bullets which shoot flat and defy the winds. The sleekest, flattest shooting, bonded hunting bullet ever designed. Nosler's AccuBond LR. For more info, visit Nosler.com.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
And we're back. Tom Gresham here. Gun Talk, 866-825-5486 will get you in here. Line 3, Monty's going to help us out. He's in Cedar City, Utah. Monty, you got some information about shooting for the visually impaired, folks who want to shoot but they're having vision problems.
Yes, I do, and I don't have any clubs or anything to do it. I don't think anybody does, but I just have to give a little background. Years ago, 50 years ago, we used to shoot rats at the dump, and you had a point shoot. So you learned that, and then I became a firearms instructor for the police departments, 3 or 4 of them back in New Hampshire, and went through all this, and nobody really taught point shooting then. A few of the fellows mentioned it, but within that 20-foot range or even closer, which is most contact problems, you can still run that thing in there and hit your target all the time. There's no problem once you learn to do it, and don't worry too much about your sights. But unfortunately, all the training I see being done today, and I don't put my name on anybody anymore because I'm too old. I don't want to get problems liability-wise. But the thing is, I try to get them to do it, and they immediately go to the Weaver stance, which was beautiful for what it stood for. I still love it. It's great. It made everybody a good shooter. And but they waste so much time. They don't get the point shooting in. So if he's got the macular degeneration, the sights will work as long as you keep the thing moving until you're on target. You can't stand still with the macular, and you can point shoot, and you can get just about anything you need within 20 feet. And it's the kids that were with me that were at the last group, the ones that had never shot before, they were point shooting within 25 minutes, whereas the people that were the experts, to say, had serious trouble point shooting. It was so funny to watch it happen. But that's the suggestion that I have for him anyway. And,
okay.
I mean, shooting the rats in the old days, you'd shoot one and three would come to eat it, so you got some real good shooting. And
when I was a kid, I actually did some shooting at City Dump one time, shooting rats at the dump. We were using 22, so I remember that. It's been a long time since we've been able to do that. Obviously, we have the landfills now. No. All right, listen, I appreciate the help on that. Had a thought as I was working on this. The XS sights, they've got that big dot sight you can put on the front of a handgun. Might be helpful for someone who is visually impaired, not totally blind, clearly, but be able to pick that up or just see it in your vision. But point shooting kind of fell out of favor, talking about Monty's point, and I think he's right. If you're shooting real close, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, point shooting works exceptionally well. I mean, you can just do it. With practice, you can stretch it beyond that. But there's nothing wrong with going out and learning how to shoot real close like that. And most of the good gunfighting schools will teach you to do that. You're looking over the top of the gun. You're not aiming. You're not using the sights. You're pointing, and because that's all you're going to have, frankly. Line 4, Lewis is in Anchorage, Alaska. Hey, Lewis, I bet you guys have got termination dust.
Not much, Tom. It's 40 degrees above and snowing and raining today.
Well, this is that time of year. You get that rain, those low clouds are going to hit, and then when it clears up, you'll see that snow line, that termination dust, working its way down the mountain, won't you?
It's happened a couple of times, and then it's melted off. We've had a really warm fall.
Okay.
Listen,
all right, tell me about an AR.
Get right to it. I've got a Colt brand 7.62 by 39 upper for one of my ARs. And got it about, 16 years ago, back when I think Slick Willie was the president at that time. But I've shot it quite a bit, and it's an exceptionally shooting gun. With good ammo or hand loads, I get groups under 1 inch at 100 yards with it. I've not shot any steel-cased ammo, so I don't know how it would work with the cheap surplus stuff that's out there. But with hand loads or with Lapua brass case ammo, it's a house of fire.
That's great. Now you got a good 30 caliber round that you're shooting in your AR. And you got the Colt brand upper.
Colt brand, and it's the full size, the 20-inch standard upper.
Okay, excellent, Lewis. Listen, I appreciate the report. A lot of folks, I'm sure, are curious about that, so I appreciate that. Leroy, on line 1, quickly. Leroy, I got 30 seconds. Tell me what your option is for the 7.62 by 39.
Yeah, excuse me. I went ahead and I bought the Ruger Mini 30, and it functions well, it shoots well, and it runs through those steel-cased Russian ammo really good, and they're available and cheap out where we live.
That's a great idea. The Ruger Mini 30, I think Mini 14, but now it's a Mini 30. It shoots a 7.62 by 39, and it will handle the steel case. And that's one of the things about some of the uppers is they may not handle the steel case ammo, particularly the ones that have the lacquer buildup and all of that. Besides, the Mini 30 is just cool looking, like the Ranch Rifle or Mini 30, that whole brand. And, of course, you can get mags for them. So that's certainly an option, too. I know people say, well, but I want to use my one rifle. No, you don't understand. The goal is to get more guns, not be efficient. The whole idea is I want to get another gun. Don't let anybody talk you into cutting down the number of guns you have. That would just be un-American.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back. Gun Talk would like to say thanks to our longtime loyal listeners who put their trust in us every week and depend on us to answer your questions and keep you informed. Now, Tom Gresham's Gun Talk continues.
All right, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. If you're listening to this on a radio station, this week, give them a call. Just say, hey, I just want to leave you a note, leave you a message. I appreciate you running Gun Talk. We have to say thanks now and then. If they don't hear from us, they might hear from somebody else who is one of those professional protester, agitator type people, All right, line 3, Ryan is in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. Hello, Ryan.
Sir, I have the Smith & Wesson SD40VE that I heard the caller earlier calling about whether or not it was a decent, reliable pistol, especially for the price. And I carry it every day, and I have to say I've never been happier with a pistol that I personally bought. I've shot Glocks and I've shot Beretta, and I carry the SD40 every day. And even though it is somewhat of a heavy gun, I'm an average sized man, and it conceals very well. Shot perfect right out of the box.
It is a good design. It's been around for 20 years or more. They've refined it. It feels good in the hands. I love your comment. It says it's a little heavy, and I was reminded of Clint Smith. He says, I carry a big gun. He says, it feels big when I carry it, but it really feels big when I pull it out, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
so
I do like the little extra weight to it, but it feels great in the hand. I have smaller hands for a man my size, and even for me, it fits perfectly in my hand. And
excellent. Well, look, I appreciate the range report, and that's just what we're looking for. We all help each other out around here. Let me jump up to Roy on 2. He's in Ohio. Hey, Roy, what's this about a Sega you don't like?
No. I said most people discard Sega and say, oh, it's a crappy gun. And I bought the 12 gauge and it didn't work for crap. And I worked on it. And I talked to people and watched YouTubes. And finally, I figured out I had to drill out that gas tube because I think I had one of those Vodka Friday specials. But I'm telling you, man, once I got this thing running, it is a Moten Gator. And if people would just be patient, it's a great, reliable, you can't stop it once it gets going shotgun.
And it's such a sleek-looking thing, such a finely crafted piece of machinery.
It really is. I put the adjustable stock on it and the foregrip on it, and I'm telling you, I just can't. It's the next best thing to a street sweeper. Hey, listen. Also, I just want to give you a major kudos on your personal defense TV. I've been shooting and watching and reading for a long, long time, and I thought, well, heck, I'll just watch these beginner videos. What the heck? I'll be able to help somebody else. I can't tell you the stuff I learned from just the basic things that I had never seen or heard before. And I've heard it before, and it's amazing. I love how to get out of the seat belt.
Isn't that a good one? Well, let me tell people what we're talking about here. We're talking about our first-person defender series on YouTube, and it's all free. You can go there and look at them. And we're putting people into self-defense situations and see how they react, and then we kind of train them up. But the one on the carjacking, the seatbelt, it sounds crazy. How do you take off a seatbelt? Everybody knows how, except that you don't, not if you're carrying a gun. And everybody who sees it says, I'm going to start using that technique every day, every time I take off my seatbelt, so it becomes just second nature to me. It's called First Person Defender. Just search for it on YouTube. You'll see what we're talking about. When we come back, more about silencers and a big win in the Midwest.
Firearms, ammunition, recreational and competitive shooting, training, hunting, and yes, even politics. You're listening to Gun Talk. Call us now at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com.